Hey everybody, Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank here. I've gotten a flood of responses of people who loved my last video about the cruise control guide that I wanted to come back to you today with another video. But I'm not going to talk to you about the cruise control guide. I wanted to share with you responses from people who have purchased my other guides and share with you what those people are talking about so you understand again where they're coming from. So with that, first quote comes from Sean, and he's talking about the No Nonsense Guide Volume 1. He says, "I've significantly revised the list of gear lined up for the big tank, and we're proceeding with tiling the tank's room," we being him and his wife. "Your guide showed me how to plumb the sump for my next tank, answered all of my questions about how that works, and put to rest concerns that I had about it. The wife acceptance factor of the aquarium is at an all-time high, which makes the guide well worth the cost." Wife acceptance factor. Can we coin that phrase? You know how it is, guys. If she ain't happy, you ain't happy. And if something goes wrong with the tank, the wife acceptance factor takes a nosedive like that. And it takes a long time to get it back up. Sean, I love the phrase. Thanks for writing in. Let's have a look at what he's talking about when it comes to plumbing your sump, because there's one thing I want to teach you that draws a lot of debate. So what is that thing that causes all that debate? Well, it's the use of ball valves on the drain lines of your tank. Now, what is a ball valve if you don't know? Here's a ball valve. It's got a handle on the outside. If you look down here, you can see through it when it's open. When you close it the right direction, it shuts off. Simple ball valve. So why do people say don't use ball valves on your drain lines? Well, they say things like it can cause restriction. Okay, sure, it can cause restriction. However, is it going to cause enough restriction you're going to reduce overall flow in your tank that you need to be concerned about it? No. Don't worry about that. Talk about splitting hairs. Then they say things like, well, snails, anything that might go down your drain line could get caught in the ball valve and cause an overflow. That's always a danger. Anything that goes down a pipe can cause a clog. However, that snail or piece of algae or whatever it is that might cause the overflow is going to probably get caught in lots of other things before it gets to the ball valve. Not enough for me to worry about it. The ball valve is going to be the least thing that I'm going to be worried about when it comes to causing a clog. Now, why do I recommend that you put a ball valve on the drain lines of your tank? A couple of reasons. One, gives you an extra added level of safety. If you need to shut off your main tank from your sump for any reason, let's say your sump starts to leak, you want to do a deep cleaning of the sump, all you got to do, turn the ball valve and you've completely restricted any water flow. Now, people will say, Mark, if you have a reef-ready tank, you turn off the return pump, water's going to stop flowing down the overflow. Now, this is true. However, if you forget that you have your sump pulled out and that there's nothing to catch the water coming down here, if you accidentally put your hand in the tank or someone else in your house puts the hand in the tank, pushes water over the overflow, it's going to drain right down onto the floor. You know what that crashing sound is? That's the sound of the wife acceptance factor hitting the sink and going down the drain. So ball valve, simple thing to put in line of your drain. I recommend it. You have it there if you ever need to isolate off your tank. Very easy to do. Just turn it and shut it off. And the amount of restriction it might cause or the potential danger of something getting caught in it, causing a clog, I'm not worried about it. It's way more worth it to me to be able to shut off my tank in emergency if I need to do it. Drain lines are one part of plumbing your tank. One of the most confusing aspects I've seen people struggle with is how do I choose a return pump for my tank? So I'm going to add in a brand new video into the No Nonsense Guide Volume 1 about choosing a return pump. Not only what pumps do I like, but how do you do the calculations on what pump is right for your tank. And I'm not just going to do the talking on this one. I'm going to bring in Ben Johnson of Captive Aquatic Ecosystems to help me. Now, who is Ben and what does he do? Well, Ben does high-end installations for people in the Houston area. This is going to be multimillionaires and famous people. His past clients include Emmett Smith, former Dallas Cowboy, and he's also worked in a public zoo, so he knows his stuff. And he knows it from small scale all the way up to big scale. So I'm going to do an interview with Ben. He's going to give us his tips and tricks when it comes to picking a return pump for your tank. So thanks, Sean, for your input, and thanks for your feedback on the No Nonsense Guide. Let's go have a look at another bit of feedback from another user. Okay, let's switch gears here and talk about the No Nonsense Guide Volume 2 so you get a sense of what's inside of that guide. This quote comes from Matt. He says, "I knew I wanted to upgrade the lighting on my tank, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to go with halides or LEDs. The No Nonsense Guide Volume 2 with the Street Smarts video showed me the different lighting setups on completely different tanks and made the decisions easy for me. Confusion? Gone. Gone is in caps, by the way. Now, Street Smarts video, what is that? Well, in the No Nonsense Guide, I mainly talk about how to take your tank from a fish-only tank to a reef tank, or if you've just set up your tank, how do you take it to the next level, starting with corals, choosing lighting, things like that. And one of the things that I put in the video is a Street Smarts video where I talk about different tanks and show you different types of lighting setups on these different tanks, so you get a sense of what a certain lighting setup looks like when it's over a different tank. I'm not just going to talk about LEDs all day long, because there's other options out there that are still viable. So that's what he's talking about in the Street Smarts video. So with that, let me talk to you one thing that I point out in the Street Smarts video, so again, you know where Matt's coming from. These days, the metal halide versus LED debate is hotter than ever. LEDs are very popular, while metal halides are tried and true. Making the choice between them requires asking yourself several key questions, including, yes, halide setups can be purchased for mere pennies these days, as a lot of reef keepers are going to LEDs and unloading their halide setups en masse. However, will the cost savings be lost with bulb replacement and heat issues that might cause you to have to purchase a chiller? Perhaps you're also not willing to leave a decade-old technology that some would argue is just reaching perfection. Now, if you're going to go the LED route, are you willing to pay much less by going with an off-brand or offshore company that likely has little or no customer service? Of course, with any reduction in price comes either a reduction in benefits, i.e. timely customer service, or a reduction in quality. Choosing an LED setup these days can be very confusing. The technology is moving very quickly. As soon as you think you have your mind made up, something new comes out and can erase your whole equation. So to make things easier on you, I'm going to add in a new video into the No Nonsense Guide Volume 2 about how to choose an LED setup. Now, if you don't want to go LEDs, that's fine. I still talk about halide setups and T5 setups inside the No Nonsense Guide Volume 2. But if you want to go LEDs, you're wondering how to make the switch, as well as what fixture to pick, I'm going to add in that new video for you. And of course, if you picked up the guide in the past, or you pick it up during my 4th of July sale, you'll get access to that video. Now, the last guide I want to talk to you about real quickly is the algae guide. Remember, that's the guide where I trash my sexy tank, causing a big algae outbreak, and then I cure the tank and talk to you about how I did it in the guide, as well as showed you how I do it in the video. Now, I'm going to add a couple new videos to this guide as well. I'm going to give you an update on the sexy tank about 4 or 5 months after it's been cured. I'm also going to talk to you about starting on biopellets, how to do that, and I'm going to show you, because it's already there waiting for you right now, talking about turf scrubbers. What is a turf scrubber? Does it work on a tank? How do you set one up? I found a tank right here in town that has one. I want to interview the guy so you can see his tank. What does it look like? What kind of results is he having with DIY turf scrubber setup? So there you have it. There's some more feedback from people on the guides, as well as a new video is going to be adding to all the guides. Again, you can pick these up during my 4th of July sale. Just follow the link at the bottom of your screen. Till next time, I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank. This has been Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. Have a good one, enjoy your tanks, and know your tank personality.